Being a vegetarian is already very good, but keep the vegetarian diet pure. In our time, it's very hard for us to find pure vegetarian food. Even bread contains eggs. What for? They add eggs without telling you. They don't label it because they mix a little water with egg and brush it on the bread to make it shiny, pretty, and crispy. So some French bread or crispy bread is like this. So you have to ask them clearly. But even if you ask, they won't tell. They don't know either. Because they bought it from somewhere else and brought it to their store. So they don't know either. They sometimes even put eggs in ice cream. My God. And they process sugar with cow bone, etc. Some brown sugars are also processed with cow bone. Only non-granulated sugar is not made through this process. So, it's best not to eat granulated sugar. Maybe raw sugar still keeps its original flavor. When I was in Olac, Vietnam, I didn't know they processed sugar this way. They wouldn't do it this way. I only saw them chopping down sugar cane. Yes, and then they put the sugar cane into the center of a machine to press its juice out. Then they store the cane juice in a bucket. After boiling it long enough, it becomes hardened. Then some granulated sugar will sink to the bottom. After storing it for a long time, you will have some granulated sugar. This is natural granulated sugar. So, I didn't know. Even I don't have time to research these kinds of things. Then I got to know it more and more. It is really horrifying. Even eating sugar causes us trouble. This kind of world truly belongs to Maya. Maya truly wants to oppress us to the very end. Even when we eat something, we fall into the trap. This is too horrible. Even such an innocent substance like sugar has to be processed with charred bones. It is absorptive and can be used to bleach the sugar, so that the sugar looks pretty. How can it be pretty? My God, it's awful. Really terrible. They really want to drag us down through any means, to stop us from practicing spiritually, because demons are jealous of us humans. Because we humans are just like God, we are the same kind. We have unimaginable magical power inside. That is why there are spiritual practitioners who can float above water and appear in multiple locations at the same time. These are achieved with the physical body. This physical body is well equipped for everything. There is light, brightness, and love inside the physical body. Everything is well equipped inside. But demons do not have this. They cannot be equipped this way. That is why they are jealous. Even if they kill us and open up our bodies to look inside, they cannot bring out our invisible hidden quality to put into use. So they oppress us out of jealousy. They mean to say, since I can't use it, neither can you. It is like this. So the demons are too pathetic. They are the discards of God. They inflate their egos wanting to become saints. Without compassion, how can they become saints? That's the difference between saints and demons. They are very intelligent but lack compassion. Humans, especially saints, have compassion, so we can practice spiritually and visit different realms. Demons can never be elevated no matter how much they practice. They can at most reach the edge of the third level, standing there, taking a look, and ruling. That is why they are jealous and resent us. They can't get what we have. They can't take it out no matter how many times they kill us or how many people they kill. Those are not material things. For instance, Einstein's brain looks like ours. But it's not possible for us to get the intelligence from his brain. Even if we put his brain inside our head, we still will not be like him. There is something different. Suppose a demon came to kill Shakyamuni Buddha after he became a Buddha and took his heart, his head, his brain, and other things to put inside his demonic body. He still can't be omnipresent, all-powerful and all-loving like Shakyamuni Buddha. You see what I mean? They can't attain that, but we humans all have this ability. We all have this quality that Shakyamuni Buddha has. When we advance in our practice, we can attain everything. So it's a pity. That's why Maya let us live too long. Since ancient times, Maya has made many things chaotic, making our world toxic, full of toxic gases. Our life is made very difficult, and we are oppressed to suffer like this, and we are unable to live for too long. If we could live longer, we'd be able to develop everything. Then Maya could only rule and could not control us anymore. Instead, we'd be able to control him. That's why he wants to control us by every means: poison, drugs, toxic gas, etc. He uses them all. During the wars in the past, bombs and many other things damaged our protective layer. Our ozone layer was also damaged. In ancient times, there was an even better ozone layer, a very long time ago, maybe during the time of Punzu, or even further back, when the world was peaceful. Since ancient times, Maya has been thinking of ways to destroy humans. That is why so many chaotic things happened and all sorts of diseases appeared. Even if we don't eat meat, we still get sick. Because they secretly meat in eggs and vegetarian food. When they can't add meat, they process the food through meat, through bones for whitening. It has so much hatred because it's Maya, a ghost. There is nothing we can do. He is not teachable. Many demons have already surrendered, but some are still very stubborn. This world is not wholesome yet, so we still have a lot of trouble. But even if they surrender, it's already too late now. Many people have already suffered and gotten confused. Right now, many people are still confused, and there is a lot of toxic gas. Even though we are alive, we feel heavy and sluggish. That's why we get tired after doing a little work. Even when we aren't working, we feel tired too. We feel tired without eating. And we also feel tired after eating. It's like this. We can't do anything because the entire atmosphere has been damaged. The negative energy from many people is pressing down on the whole planet. So many people can't think straight. So when I give lectures, you understand very clearly, because it's nothing special or hard to understand. But these people don't, and they have doubts. Or, they can't change their habits to give up that piece of meat, for example. It's not that they don't want to give it up, but they are oppressed by Maya. Some people are more oppressed by Maya, and some less. Some people have stronger willpower, so when they are oppressed, their determination comes out. I must follow Master to be a vegetarian. I don't care, even if I suffer. I have to go. Some people back off after feeling a little suffering, because they are oppressed by Maya. Just with a little pressure, they are scared, and back off. So you are very brave. I congratulate you. And then, the braver you are, the more committed you are to the vegetarian lifestyle, the clearer you think, and the more you understand what I say. You also understood it before. But now you understand more and more because you're very clear, you're enlightened. You can communicate with the great power of your true self. I mean, you are still oppressed too much. But you are already very incredible like this. I truly cherish you a lot. Even if you are only a vegetarian, you are already incredible. People outside who are not vegetarian or do not practice spiritually aren't bad people. Humans' inborn nature is kindness. You have to believe in this sentence. It's truly like that. We are from God. How can our inborn nature not be kindness? When we were born as babies. When we were born as babies, who would we want to kill? How would we want to consume meat, alcohol, or chicken? No, it's just that as we grew up, we got polluted by a bunch of people who had already been polluted. One person pollutes two pollute three, and three pollute four. When we were born, we were already surrounded. We truly can't swim out of it. Your being able to strive to reach this state is already very good. I was just wondering whether about the non-initiates. Will they be able to practice enlightenment after this life? It depends if they are good enough to be worthwhile of another human body even. And then even if they are better than that, they could find an enlightened master at all. It all depends on themselves. So you try to help them now to understand the priority in life. And they will be able to practice to meet an enlightened master and practice spiritual in the next life. Or maybe they will meet a master in this lifetime. Or maybe they will be elevated. So there will be other worlds for them to practice meditation and enlightenment. No, I'm not sure if they can practice. There are always other world, but practice or not. It depends on if they're good enough or not. They might even go to hell. There's no practice there. You can feel sometimes who comes to bother you and who obstructs you. Because sometimes they are your enemies in the last life, and they came back to be your husband and wife and friend in order to get close to you in order to attack you. Really. That's why the Buddha said, you mistake the thief for the son, mistake the enemy for friend. It's true like that also, it's true. But we should realize, and the more we practice, all this karma, retribution, and hostile relationship will slowly fall apart, or we will transform them into positive relationship and take our enemy with us. So, we destroy the enemy forever. Kill them, never come back again. Together, go to heaven and no more enemy, only angel. So, that's why we must meditate. We must continue the connection with God. That's the only solution. That's the only force that can dilute all this illusion and hatred and past connection with friends or enemies alike. Otherwise, we cannot get out. This life you kill her or you harm her. Next life, she comes back and kills you, harms you, and then next life you come back and... That's how life goes on. That's the play of Maya. That's on purpose to trap you into the situation. Even though you have the free will, but it would create a lot of temptation to make you weak, to make you think that the wrong thing you do is right, or brainwash you. Or get you into the situation where a lot of bad friends influence you, and tell you the wrong is the right, or give you drugs and wine, and then you don't know what's wrong from right. That's the game of this life. That's how the Maya King binds us into the world, otherwise, he has no souls. If everybody born here are wise and are angels, how can he control people? Then the world doesn't exist. Then it is heaven already, then it's not the world anymore. And nowhere we can play, no school, no teacher, no student, nothing. Then the world only has heaven. Then I don't exist. I don't need you, you don't need me, we all play around. But sometimes the plan of the creation exists in different levels, so that it has a creation. Like school, elementary, shawl, high school, college, like that. Each one is good, and we like that. There's so many levels. It is very easy for the master to uplift people, or disciples or non-disciples, to the higher level. It's just difficult for them to keep it. Because some people, they have goodness within them, but far from saintly quality, square. We have the NQ, noble quality. We have LQ, loving quality, HQ, human quality. But we must also have GQ and square. GQ is the goodness quality inside, not the personality that we show outside. Some people look very sweet and humble, but inside they are not. And some people look like a bit rough and not very polite or not very sweet, but they are very good inside. And some people look like a saint, but they are not. Some people don't look like a saint, but they are. Okay, so GQ and square are more important than other Q even. Because it's not shown. It's not shown. Mostly inside. Why do the dead suffer a lot? It is because most of them are separated from the sound current forever. There is a silver cord in every one of us when we are alive. It follows us wherever we go, automatically expanding and contracting as we travel to and from other planes. If we know how to play the silver cord, we can make it generate beautiful sounds to make us happy, nourish our souls, and take us back to our real home. For those who do not know how to use the silver cord, it is used only once at the time of their death when it is irreparably severed. That is very sad. That is why many people who have died are unhappy. When they were alive, even though they did not know how to play the silver cord, they had it anyway, and their souls knew that there was still hope. For example, I have a mandolin. Although I do not have very much time to play it, knowing that I have it comforts me, and I can play it as soon as I have the time. When I did not have it previously, I used to think, oh, it would be nice to have one. Now I have it. Although I do not have enough time to play it, I know it is there. It is better than having nothing. When we are alive, the silver cord exists. Even if we do not practice the Kuan Yin method and have not used this cord, it is there and there is still hope. When we die, it is gone. We do not know when we will have enough blessed rewards to become a human being and have this silver cord again. Animals do not have it, so they do not have the inner music. Well, they do have this cord, but theirs is too tiny to be played. It is not good enough to be fully functional. Most people go through a lot of suffering after they die, because there is no sound from this silver cord, and there is no hope. Those who are initiated are different. Their silver cords exist forever, taking them to and from higher worlds. So they are always free and never lost or separated from the highest spiritual plane. With the silver cord functioning properly, they are really alive. Otherwise, the cord would be gone when they die, and there would be no hope. And if, according to the Buddhist law of causality, some of them should become animals, there would be even less hope for them. That is why people who have died are so miserable, unable to hear the external and inner sounds. Kuan Yin practitioners are very happy at the time of death, knowing in advance when they will die. The silver cord remains unsevered, continuously generating pleasant and nourishing sounds for their souls, taking them anywhere and then bringing them back. It can extend to the ultimate borders of the universe and to the depths of hell, so they are free to go anywhere. Therein lies the difference between ordinary people and the initiated ones when they die physically. The initiates never really die. Only those whose silver cord is severed die. Living people who cannot hear or see externally are very unhappy. The blind and the deaf are not so happy, because they do not have the outer sounds and sights to entertain them. It is the same with dead people. That is why they are unhappy. If we cultivate this silver cord and keep it from dying, then we can be immortal and will always have sound and light to nourish our souls, comfort our hearts, and make us joyful. Now we have them 24 hours a day, so we are happy all day long. What is karma? Our world has many sciences. Some people study medical science and some study engineering. They're specialized in their fields. They each understand what the other says and does. Some studies are beyond worldly sciences, like we can study lives on other planets, or find out about our past and future. The best is what Buddha or Jesus called liberation from life and death and going back home. Where is our home? It's in a very, very high world. High doesn't refer to distance but to the highest supreme world. Nothing can compare with it. Nothing on earth can compare with it. If we don't want to stay on earth, we can go back to the origin. From where we came, maybe millions of years ago. We came to cultivate and develop this world and to exchange our emotions and experiences. Some of our experiences are good and some are bad. Good experiences make us better. Some bad experiences make us better, some make us worse. Our good and bad experiences have been recorded deeply in our subconsciousness, as in a computer. It records our behavior and experiences. If it records only the bad, we become a so-called bad person. If it records only the good, we become a good person. This is a learning process. Sometimes we have free choices. We call this free will. When we are born, we can judge which experience we want to absorb, learn, and cherish, and which we don't. But sometimes we don't care whether it's good or bad, so we get tired up by these experiences. We base our reactions on them. If we think this is good, we'll react this way. If we think that is good, even though it isn't, we'll react the same way. Gradually, we get used to it and always react the same way. In the same situation, we'll react the same way. This is what we call karma, or being tied up by cause and effect. It's a habit acquired over lifetimes, what we call a natural response. We output what we've recorded. That isn't our true self. Only our mind or subconsciousness. Why we reincarnate. Our subconsciousness is like a computer. When we enter the inner world, we can see our own computer. Then we'll know what we've done in the past. This is nothing mysterious. If our mind was not like a computer, how could we learn things? This is self-evident, because we can learn. When we learn English, we'll remember English. If we learn Cantonese, we'll remember Cantonese. It's also like a tape recorder, right? It's like a computer that gathers and releases the data. This means that there is truly a so-called computer inside us. This subconsciousness will not perish even after we die, because it's not material. It belongs to the spiritual realm. We can say that it's invisible, but that doesn't mean that we can't see it. It's invisible only to our physical eyes, to our wisdom eye. It is not invisible. What I am talking about isn't of a very high level. Higher levels are hard to describe. I am talking about these ordinary things, so that you can all understand. If you hear someone say that he can see his past and future, don't think it's anything mysterious. It's a computer. We can see it. A visible computer can be seen with our physical eyes. An invisible computer can be seen by our invisible eye. The difference lies in the tools and approaches we use. It's nothing extraordinary or mysterious. We may think that it's mysterious the first time we hear about it, but actually it's not. It's very scientific and logical. We've been reincarnating life after life because we can't delete things in this invisible computer. We don't know how to delete them. An ordinary computer or robot can be formatted. We can take it apart. We can take a robot apart and loosen its screws so that its hand goes here and its head goes there. Then the robot doesn't exist anymore. Or with a computer, we can push a button to destroy it. Then it doesn't exist anymore, right? Because it's only a material computer. However, our inner computer is more formidable. If we don't know how to erase the information invisibly, we take it with us life after life, and we will be pulled back because of it. After a person dies, he takes this computer with him, because it isn't material. Our physical body may perish, but the computer will not. Our soul will not perish. Our many bodies, the body has many different levels. For example, the physical body is dense and rough. We can see and touch it. Another body can sometimes be seen with our physical eyes, but it cannot be touched. There's yet another body inside the one we can't see nor touch, but we can sense its presence. If we're at a higher level, we can see it. There's yet another one. It's an expanse of light, power, and immense love. That's our true nature, our true self. If our true self hasn't taken off this coarse outer jacket, this outer casing, like the physical body, we'll carry the computer within us life after life. We'll still have a form and image. We may be invisible, but we are visible in another world. Sometimes we hear about a dead person coming back to make trouble. Sometimes he shows himself to some people. Such incidents are true. Why? Because his soul is wrapped inside his astral body. That is called the astral body. We have a body called the astral or spiritual body. This spiritual body is the wrapping. Our true soul or true self is not like a body at all. If we have attained that level, it will be convenient for us to manifest a body. Then we can show ourselves to people. But this is different from showing up and causing trouble after death. Why we can be liberated in one lifetime. Our computer records many things, so we cannot escape the experiences. Because we believe those experiences are all that we are. We keep coming back life after life because we have these experiences waiting for us. So death is not the end. The data is still here. And for this data we come back again because we are not satisfied with it. We have not done enough research on it. Or when we have only half fulfilled some of our desires or just beginning to fulfill them, we die, so we come back to enjoy them with another physical body, these things. Now, let me talk about how we can be liberated from this computer that has recorded the good and the bad of lifetimes. There's a method. Those of us who practice the Kuan Yin method can delete them. We can delete them and only keep what we need. This is the only method that can enable us to forget the influence of the past and be liberated from it. This is called liberation from life and death. Just like those of us who know how to use computers, no matter how much we input, as soon as we press a button, it will all be deleted, right? Those who know computers, isn't that right? Similarly, the invisible computer is like this. If we know how, we can delete the information quickly. That's why we can be liberated in one lifetime and be enlightened. Enlightenment, what does enlighten mean? Why can we get enlightened by deleting the information recorded in the computer? Because the invisible computer information has covered up the wisdom and the truth that we should know. The mind is filled with information from the past, or information we have collected or learned here on Earth. The true information that we had before we came to Earth has been covered by all the messy information we have collected in many lifetimes. Do you understand what I mean? It's been wrapped. If we can delete the messy information, the true wisdom will reveal itself, the real self, before we experience anything good or bad. It's just like something covered by dust. If we wash it and dust it, it will shine again. I always have a question about what is the limit of our own free will. Actually, it's no limit. And, yes, there is a limit. There is a limit to goodwill because of our bad karma from the past life. For example, if last life we have obstructed many people practicing, or we try to do some bad things to many people, then this life, that kind of bad karma will come back and obstruct us and make a lot of trouble for us. So, even now, if we have a very good will, we have free will to be able to change our life and to choose between good and evil, but sometimes the bad karma from the past life obstruct us. Makes so much difficulty for us to fulfill our good will. That's why we cannot do the good things that we want in such a quick way and in such a smooth way. So, that's why we say there is a limit to free will. Otherwise, there is no limit to free will at all. That's why we must practice very hard, using our strong almighty power inside in order to overcome any obstacle that we ourselves or anybody else planted before or at the present time on our road. So, there is no limit, and, yes, there is a limit. It depends on how strong we are. Master, I would like to ask a question about the reincarnation system. Can we reincarnate backward in time? For example, can Albert Einstein reincarnate into Isaac Newton 100 years ago? You mean go back to the past lives? You want to return to the time, for example, Einstein's time, right? And why would you want to do that? This is not very logical and not very intelligent choice. Even if I have that choice, I wouldn't. Even if I am reincarnated back into the time of, just say, Qianlong, the king of China. He has all the power and he controlled the whole China, but I wouldn't like to. At that time, he has only horse carriages, and it's very painful to go from here to there. It takes so long time. And his house doesn't have glass windows, has only white paper windows. It's all dark, and the crown is heavy, and the shoes are thick and difficult to walk in. No, thank you. The souls always mostly go upward, go forward, not go backward. But you could, for example, from now, using some kind of technique, go back to the old time. If you want to. But I'm warning you, it's not a very good thing to do, because old time is not as good as it's prescribed in the book. The horses poo all over the street, for example. It's smelly. And many streets are not paved with asphalt and bricks. They're all muddy streets, for example. And the cold weather, they don't have central air con. They don't have cars. The old time. And even more recent times, the industrial smoke all over. Many diseases cannot be controlled. A lot of outbreaks of pandemics, etc., etc. You can't just always choose the good things from the past life and avoid the environmental or the bilateral connection with the past. Reincarnate, if you want, go to the future. Future you can also visit. In the meditation, you can also see the future, what happens. But in part only, not all. Like Nostradamus. He also saw a lot of things in the future, and he warned humankind. And he also predicted many things. So, he went like 400 years, 500 years before him. And the past life. You don't have to reincarnate in order to know it. You can see also sometimes in your meditation, you can see what you did in the past life, or where you were and what kind of person you were. People have it. So many disciples went back to the past life also, by chance or deliberately. Then they saw what they were and what I was, for example, like that. And they came back sometimes telling you, in the experience sharing, for example. They said that I was so and so, I was the king of this and that country, I was a master of this and that name. So, that is the reincarnation temporarily during your meditation. You can go backward and forward while you were here, but don't go there permanently. The past life wasn't all that good, was it? The past history, if you can't control it and then you go too far, and you go and meet all these dinosaurs and then know what to do. They'll pick you up just like a fly and use you for a toothpick. Scary stuff. The past life, the past history of humankind wasn't always pleasant. People have to scavenge for food and use stone to cut things. Lived in tents. It's not always good. You still want to go back to the past? No, thanks. But I just want to know if this is possible. It is possible. But the souls would never do that. It's beyond its intelligence to reincarnate in the past history, in the past of the history of humankind. Because we are more forward now. Many heavenly beings never want to come here. They don't have courage. For example, you are staying in a beautiful place like this, so clean and nice. If you had to go into a filthy, like a place where people put the wastewater and garbage and things like that, and lock yourself in there every day, would you like it? A small place. A small confined space with a lot of filth and garbage every day like this, would you like? This is what happens to a spiritual being from heaven. When they come down and take the confinement of this body. Some come because they want to develop this planet into a more beautiful place. Because you remember when you read the history of the planet was not like this before. It was like a big dense jungle and nobody lived. And it was not comfortable and not beautiful. And because this planet is connected with heavenly plan of existence, therefore we have to work together. And because we are also heavenly beings connected with other heavenly beings. So whatever we do here affects them also. A spirit, if it's too high, it's not affected, the lower a little bit affected. Therefore, if we do something good, they are very joyful and very happy. If we do something damaging to the world and then affect the universe, they are very worried and also very disturbed. That's why every of us have some so-called guardian angels, who are supposed to help us to do our mission in this world. And then depends on what kind of job we do. We will have more angels or less angels, stronger angel or just ordinary angel, etc. The Indian people have a tradition to respect everyone they meet. Perhaps because in their mythological stories, they were told that all the human beings here are spiritual, are great, wise beings from heaven. And sometimes when we meditate, we also can see that. But sometimes we are covered, so we don't think too much, so we don't feel too much homesick. Master laughs, so some of them when they meditate, they can visit their home, at least have a look and come back here to work again. And other people they forget, they don't miss their home. They just want to stay here all the time. God gives them enough money, enough instruments to work for this world, but then they use the money, they use the instruments to enjoy, they forget. These people are very difficult to get liberation, and that's why since ancient time, there are always masters and spiritual friends. They also sacrifice. They come here and wake up the people of the world, but it's difficult. Once they come here, they forget everything from heaven. And sometimes the master feels very sorry for these brothers and sisters. And sometimes the master wants to run day and night just to keep calling them, waking them, and bring them back to their spiritual glory, because they suffer too much. Due to their ignorance, they forget their origin, they forget their noble purpose in this world. And they forget that whatever they are given in this world are only instruments, so they can fulfill their task. But then they forget. And then they are entrapped into these beautiful instruments or situations, and then they get bound here. They cannot go home. Sometimes it takes a long time until they wake up. Meanwhile, all the spiritual beings in heaven are feeling sorry for them, wanting to help them, want to pull them up, but it's sometimes difficult. So it's good that you wake up. It's good that you realize that you are not the physical body of this world, that you have a home in heaven. Actually, we should treat all our mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters like all spiritual brothers and sisters. Because actually, that's all we are. That's what we are. Before we came here, we made a covenant with each other saying, oh, you be my parents, you be my son, you be my sister, you be my teacher, you be my friend, and all that. Everyone comes together to help each other to achieve the purpose of their mission. And also to achieve a higher position in the spiritual world. It's not that because of a higher position that we come here. Just that we have been courageous. We want to try. We want to take the challenge. And then of course the greater the challenge, the greater our spiritual understanding and growth. And then we become, of course, a higher spiritual being through our knowledge and labor that we have offered to the universe. And then heavenly beings of course respect us more and then give us more, even higher responsibilities. For example, if you were born in a rich family, and then if you don't work, if your parents spoiled you too much and didn't let you go out and learn, and work in different jobs to have experience of your growth, of your talents and your intelligence, and your physical power, then you just hang around in the house and eating, sleeping, doing something, but do not have the experience and the capability of a grown-up and mature person. And then even your parents cannot entrust you with their great possessions. So like if the parents go away, and then maybe you inherit the possessions because you are the only one. But then you don't know how to manage the business, and then you let the business fall apart. And then you become poor also. That's why God let us come here, to study and to strengthen our abilities. The more we work, the more we try to help other people, the more we grow. Some of the animals are more noble than we are, some of them have higher consciousness, and yet you also say that being human is the peak of creation as well. Yes, can the animals, will they become human? Or can the animals obtain enlightenment and go beyond the physical? It depends on the animal. I wouldn't say like, the tiger will go straight to heaven, but most of the animals. Actually, some tigers and lions are very noble as well. You'd be surprised. It depends. Any race of animals. Even in the ferocious animals, there are some saintly beings born into it. Many times, like sometimes you see on the television, there was a girl in Africa, she was molested by 7 men even. And the lion came and shooed them all away and guarded the girl until her family came, and then left. And some lions even rescued some other babies, and all that stuff. And many stories about that, yes. Some animals, they came straight from heaven, to come down to help humans. In that case they will go back straight to where they came from. Only elevated one step higher than when they were before, higher heaven or higher level of consciousness, as a reward from heaven. Human is higher in the way that we have many choices. We can choose to be noble. We can rescue any other human when we want to. We can help our neighbors. We can share our possessions and our labor, our love, anything we want. We can be heroes. We can choose to be vegetarian or non-vegetarian. We can choose to be a saint. We can choose to meditate on God and elevate ourselves anytime. We have that privilege. Animals. They have very few choices because of the nature of their species. For example, the dogs. Sometimes they come here. They could rescue other people or do something else. But they're with you, and they're limited to what you want them to do. They don't have much choice. To be reincarnated into the animal kingdom is easier. To be reincarnated in human world is hard. You need human quality. You have to have enough human quality. You have to have affinity with the parents and with the society, with the people around which you were born. And it's very difficult. So the Buddha said that there's a blind turtle only once every 100,000 years he came up to the surface of the sea, and at that time there flows a piece of wood towards that place. And there's a hole in it, and the blind turtle happens to just put his head through that hole. And that's how rare it is to have a human body. Nowadays, even rarer. They have contraceptive medicine and all kinds of things. And humans have a lot of choices. And it's a pity if we don't choose well. Animals, they are limited to their. For example, if a bird wants to come down and help humans, it's difficult for them. As soon as they come down to the human world, they can be eaten, or they've been captured and then put in cage. Or sold or die meanwhile, something like that, during the process. So humans are very privileged because of what you have done in the past. Perhaps you've done something good, that you have merit, that you can choose a human body. To be a human, you need some merit. You have done something good in the past in order to be able to pick a human birth. Some humans, although maybe they're saintly, noble, but maybe they haven't done those human merits, so they don't have enough choice. They have to be born as animals. Whatever they want to do, they have to do it with that body, which is more difficult. Humans, we have brain, we have hands. We can do all kinds of tools. We can invent a lot of things and make our lives comfortable. And help everybody else, or animals. But most of the time we don't choose it. The humans, before they came down to this world, they all promised that, I will walk the way of God. I will walk the way of love. I will correct my mistakes in the past lives. I won't do that again. I definitely will not. I will do the opposite. I will do good. I will be generous. I will be kind. I will be compassionate. I will do this. I will be a hero of humans and animals. I will lay down my life for the needy, for the weak and the small, for the animals even. But when they come down here, for God, and the force of the previous karma comes pounding upon them also, together with the fixed karma of this lifetime is the one that they are born with. They have to pick up some karma to be born with, and that's the price they have to pay to be human. They have to struggle to be good. It's not easy for them. That they're born and then everything's there. They have enough wealth, they have enough strength, and they have just unchangeable compassion, and then they will always do good. And they will always part with their money easily. It's not like that. They have to pay the price, that is struggling with the obstacles that they're born with the karma that they're born with what they did in their last life that comes back onto them. And they have to struggle against that, to do the opposite. Many fail miserably. And then they have to come back again, promise again. But this time, it's double. The karma of the past life and the life now will come back on them on the next future life. It'll be harder and harder all the time. So you see how poor the human is. And if they don't have any guides to show them, to remind them, to support them mentally and physically and spiritually, in the congregation of saintly people who have the same goal, same-minded, then they fail miserably. Many people fail. That's why many people came to my lecture, even they got initiation, but dropped out. They can't. If they don't come back to group meditation, don't keep their faith and hang on to us together, support each other, then they're weak. They will also fall, give in to the force of karma of the mind. It's very difficult. Master, we thought that we can be liberated from the cycle of birth and death once we reach the third level. However, in an international gathering in 2013, you said that even the chief of the third level has to reincarnate when it's time. Could you please clarify this for us, Master? SM, in the three worlds, the three worlds are destroyable. The three worlds are not permanent. The fourth world and the fifth world are permanent, but the third world is the highest in the three realms. And once you are there, eons of time pass until you reincarnate again, and you may be reincarnate again after a short while, back into the third world. Or if you have a master, from then on, you could even continue with that master, and before your time's up you've already gone to the fourth or the fifth level. If you initiated by a competent master, The master doesn't just leave you at the third world. Just because you're lousy, you don't practice well, you go to the third world, but at least you don't go to hell. You don't go back to the human life. You don't go back to animal life. You don't go to the second level. You are very safe there for a long time. And then from then, the master will continue to help you to elevate to the fourth, the fifth level. It's not like you stay there forever. Well, you can if you want to, but it's up to you also. It's up to you. As I said, the doctor prescribes the patient has to take the pills, to take the treatment. Of course the doctor helps you to bring maybe water for you, bring the pills to you and checks your pulse. Every day sees if you improve and tells you good things. Tells you to have a good diet and exercise and take this and that vitamin. And also even the doctor helps you to put the injection into your arm or your leg, wherever it's needed. But only if you allow. So the doctor is also helping, but you also have to take other measurements as prescribed. The doctor cannot take all the pills for you. The doctor cannot exercise for you. Doctor can help you put injection in your arm because you cannot do it yourself. That the doctor can do. The things that the patient cannot, the doctor helps you. But other things the patient has to do. The doctor cannot do everything, even the best doctor in the world. It's logical. No need a lot of intelligence to understand that. But not everybody understands that. This is the problem. They just sit there, do nothing, don't want to do anything, continue their bad habits. And then expect miracles. If miracles can help humans to elevate into the fifth level or into the high heaven, or make peace in the world, or make a vegan world, or make everyone love each other, then Buddha would have done that, and Jesus would have done that. Krishna, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would have done that. Humans have to change, have to do what all the masters have come here to teach. All the master teach all the good things. But how many would adhere to those noble teachings? Even just to adhere to the 5 precepts. No need to follow any master, then you will be reborn in heaven for a while. And then even if you go back to the world, you'll be a healthy, good person. You will have no problem. You don't go to hell. If you just keep the 5 precepts, you don't harm or kill others, you don't steal, you don't tell lies, you don't commit sexual misconduct, and you don't take those intoxicants. Even just keep these 5 precepts, you will be never born in hell, or you'll never be born as a bad animal or hunted animal. You will be remaining at the human level. At least like that, just that. All the masters teach 5 precepts or 10 precepts, similar. Jesus, Buddha, all teach the same, like you don't kill, you don't steal, you be honest, you be a good person, you be a good guest on earth. But how many people keep it? Master, all things come from inner Buddha nature. If so, is there real free will or free choice? No, we just dream that we have free choice. And we make a lot of mess with this free choice, which we should have given up in the beginning anyhow. But we can only do that with sincere devotion to God, or whomever we believe in. And we can only do that through enlightenment, because then we know it's not we who do things. It's the universal plan. Then we will not reject our job. We will not throw away our wife or children or get a divorce or anything. We will know what it is, and we will lead a more contented and happy life. This is free will. For example, God's plan is that I have to put my umbrella here. And now I don't like to put it here. Why should I put it here? I feel I should put it there. I put it there. Why not? Okay. Now I upset the environment and the plan for a while. Then I feel very uncomfortable, and my umbrella will break over there, and I don't know why. If I had put it here, it wouldn't have been broken. So now, eventually, I will have to bring it back and put it here. Now, suppose you divorce your wife or your husband or reject your job and think now I am free. That's it, fantastic. I have taken the matter into my hands and now I am free of her or him. And you think you have done a decisive and very wise thing. And what happens? Maybe a few days or a few months later you will meet someone else. Maybe worse than that one. So, the experience you have to go through anyhow. Maybe you think you have changed it, but no. It's just been postponed. Or maybe God lets you turn around the corner but you go back to the same road again. Master talked to an audience of young people originally. We humans came from very high dimensions where we already knew everything. Our minds are full of all kinds of materials, and they'll be of use if we know how to operate with them. Our brain is just like a computer that's full of all kinds of materials from the universe. It's just that most of these materials we can't utilize because we don't know how to operate it. We practitioners have to find the right keys, and then we can understand everything, we can do anything, and we can do everything much better than ordinary people. It's because after we practice, our inner wisdom adjusts itself automatically, and the inner master presses the right keys for us whenever we need anything. It provides us with the necessary materials. This is nothing mysterious. If anything we request comes true, it's because we have it originally. It comes out when we press the right keys. There's nothing mystical about it. Sometimes we don't know how to choose the right keys because we haven't learned how. Thus, we pray to God for help because we will know how to choose the right keys and miracles will happen. Every request is answered because we found the right keys. After we practice well, we don't have to pray to God for anything. We have everything we want because we know how to find the right keys. Spiritual practitioners go to a different school, one that's higher than universities. Our worldly knowledge ends at the universities. Secondary schools are higher than primary schools. And universities are higher than high schools, but that's the end of worldly knowledge. If we want to know greater things, we want to know about the universe or other mysterious things. We have to practice spiritually. After we graduate from the university, we should go to Buddha's or God's school if we want to enhance our wisdom. It's just another kind of school. But this kind of school is different from ordinary schools because it doesn't involve organizational work. There are no written tests, and there are no tuition fees. And students don't have to go to school every day. That's why people don't think it's a kind of school. Of course, we can do as ordinary schools do. But I think people who can go to this kind of school are already mature. They are good enough and don't need the kinds of disciplinary methods that are used to control children. So, this kind of school is freer. Although this kind of school is freer, students have to study very hard. They have to meditate at least 2.5 hours a day and strictly observe the precepts. It's stricter than ordinary schools in this respect. And there are still tests although they are not in written form. Ask your parents. They have a lot of tests. Sometimes, if they can't pass the tests, their levels drop. But that doesn't matter since they can take the tests again. We have no deadlines for the tests. It doesn't matter when or how many times you take the tests. You can continue to take the tests as long as you have patience and sincerity. In this school, you also learn a superior kind of knowledge. Therefore, it's also a kind of school here. I teach different knowledge which is superior to that of the university. Worldly knowledge cannot compare with this knowledge because there are many mystical things that cannot be explained through worldly knowledge. Universities have their good points. Many different subjects are taught there. However, we teach everything here, and it's taught inwardly without the use of language. Our school is thus a superior school. Now you're still in primary and secondary school, so you should study hard and do your homework carefully. But you shouldn't do it for fame or fortune. You shouldn't do it because you wanted to become a boss, run a big factory, or become a president. You should do it as part of your responsibility to please your parents and teachers. To fulfill your duty as a member of society. After we complete our education, we go wherever God arranges for us to go. And do whatever God arranges for us to do because we know God will take care of everything. It's just because of mankind, our habit to be so negative, to think negative, to expect negative, and have no courage to hope for anything big. and the faith in God is very weak. So we always are afraid that if this happens, we'll lose our job. If free electric comes, we will lose our electric company. If free medicine comes or good medicine comes, the doctors will go out of business, or medical care has no work to do, etc. etc. Never happens if we have another way to do it, right? Even God will find another way for us. Besides, if we don't have to pay so much for the electric bill, then we don't have to work so hard in the beginning, anyhow. For example, like that, there are so many things, so many inventions, so many researches has been successful. And we could have paradise any minute we want, if only we want. But sometimes we choose to live in misery. That's fine with God, but don't blame the poor old guy. That's all. Because this is injustice. It's unfair. Always send some genius, always send a teacher. Always send good friend to remind us of the glory of heaven, and to help ourselves to heal ourselves. To be rich, to be famous, to be beautiful, to have abundance of everything. To be whatever we'd like to be. Not that we want to be famous, not that we want to be rich, but this is the way we should be. We could be. Just that the society as a whole, like a big constitution, has its own law, unwritten agreement. They make every obstacle possible for every other souls. Even the developed soul has to struggle through this institution. So it's difficult for us. You are on your way, I think. You're happy and you know. That's a secret between us.